You're coughing. I'm sneezing. Great.
Dude, it fucking sucks, man.
We're gonna have
Everybody's had the fucking flu.
We're gonna have some great fucking audio tonight. All right.
3, 2, 1.
Let's just go ahead and jump into it. Let's go ahead and welcome everybody back to another episode of Server Restart In. It's a weekly World of Warcraft podcast hosted by 3 opinionated players who like to get together to discuss their thoughts about the current state of the game. My name is Jim. I'm joined by Kristen.
Hello.
And Brian.
Hello.
And last week we had a short and sweet episode. It was low sodium Kristen. And this week
Salt
I think
back.
I think we're about to get dumped on.
I was saving up all my salt, and now
no. she's been salt mining.
Truckload. Oh yeah. I have a truckload of salt, all of it Alchemy based.
Let her rip, tater chip.
So Alchemy sucks. It's terrible. You have basically you're earning your recipes via experiments, right? Which that sounds super cool, right? Like, yeah, let me experiment with stuff, right? But no, what you do is you click a button and then you get blown up. And then you have a debuff for 4 hours where you can't do anything. Well, you can do stuff, but you can't do anything alchemy related. You can't experiment. You can still make potions, but you can't experiment anymore. So, since experimentation is the main way for you to earn your recipes, you're basically cock-blocked by Blizzard. Thanks, Blizzard. I didn't want to learn any recipes. I didn't want to be useful to my guild or myself. Thanks so much for that. Really appreciate that. Literally, I log on and I blow up. And then I wait 4 hours, not in game, because
Isn't that the way it used to be?
It used to be, I think.
Didn't you have to discover everything?
you had to discover things.
But the discovery were on a 24-hour cooldown.
Yeah, so you could only cast one, and that wasn't how you got the majority. That was how you got So you got the main potions and flasks and stuff, and then you had to discover, I think, for the ranks. I think is what it was. Which is fine. Because I don't care. Just give me the main freaking ability. Yeah. But all of the shit is RNG. There's no guarantee when you experiment that you're going to learn anything. So I did like the one time where I had a crap ton of things before getting blown up. I didn't learn a single recipe. So it was just experiment, 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 experiment. 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 Get blown up. Wait 4 hours. Experiment. Get blown up. Wait 4 hours. Experiment. Get blown up. Go to bed. Wake up in the morning. Get blown up. Experiment. 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 Get blown up. Experiment. Get blown up. Like, and I'm not even, I wish I was exaggerating, but I'm not. I'm not exaggerating at all. Like, I should have made a spreadsheet of every goddamn time I got blown up immediately. For a while, every time I logged in, I would go in and first thing I do, because I want to start my cooldown, is experiment. So, first thing I do, get blown up. Well, let me start my 4 hours. You know? Today, I think I logged in and I got 2, and then I got blown up. And I didn't learn anything.
You did learn 1 today.
I learned 1 today. Yes.
Okay, so what does blown up mean then? I don't know what you
literally
mean.
blown up, almost dead. Like,
So you're like
2%.
doing concoctions and then like
you
that goes
literally
bad.
get blown away
Yeah.
from the alchemy bench.
Yeah, it explodes
Which
you.
is fine. I don't care. I'm a healer, so I pop down all the heals. so I don't die. And I mean, I don't think you're meant to die anyway, but you do get pretty low. Like, it's concerning sometimes how low you get.
It doesn't help that initially they found a way to get around the buff, so people
don't even blame people for that.
I know, but like you could log off and it would reset it, so people were logging out and just doing it over and over again.
I freaking wish I had known about it. I would have done it too.
So they disabled experiments for a couple of days after launch.
Yeah, so then that put people behind because you couldn't learn anything or level up or anything, so that sucked. And then, of course, they don't roll back anything, so all those people now are max level and know all of their things, and everybody else is scrambling, so God forbid if you want to try to make any money. I don't, but, you know, still.
I think they tried to bring back the discovery stuff in a way that was
super shitty,
faster than the 24-hour one to make the profession more engaging, but I think they kind of missed the mark. Either the fucking RNG is tuned way too high for a chance of failure, or it is they just, I don't know.
I would say they definitely missed the mark because it's not engaging. I log in, I get blown up, and then I log out because I'm like, fuck you. I'm not sitting in the dungeon, or I'm not sitting here for 4 hours doing shit in your shitty game that keeps blowing me up. So, F Blizzard. Salt is back. I was having such a good time in the game, and then I started doing professions, and let me tell you, herbalism effing sucks on that goddamn dragon.
So, yes.
Not
Why?
ideal.
Because you gotta hop off?
Yeah, no, I don't have to hop off. I farmed that dragon riding thing first. That was the first thing I did. The thing
with mining and herbalism is that dragon riding is a skill, or is a movement ability based on vigor points and momentum. And you start hopping around and
you stop that momentum.
You see it coming up. So you have to figure out how to get down to it and do a bunch of stuff. So then you have to land, and then you get back up, and then there's another one right there. So you don't have a chance to regenerate any vigor
points. So you're sitting there for 5 freaking minutes between
whenever
nodes.
you land, though.
Yes, but if you're fast about the stuff, it whittles it down faster than it recharges. So then you get to a point where you have maybe 1 vigor, and you can't really go anywhere for.
I don't think so I have mining. It's the same exact process you're talking about, and I have not experienced that.
Have to get off your mount, right?
At least since I hit 4 or higher vigor.
You have to get off you have to get off your mount, right?
That's irrelevant.
No, it's not.
Yes, vigor regenerates whether you're on your mount or not, if you're on the ground.
Okay, that's not the point. The point is you're taking time getting off your dismounting, hitting the thing, and then remounting again.
The time to remount is negligible, and as soon as you click on the node, you're automatically instantly dismounted, so you're not losing time there.
Okay.
Regardless, I have mining too, and I have all 6, and I still run into that problem. When you get down into the valleys around like the rivers and stuff like that,
there are some. Yeah, I say if you're down low, I've seen a few times where it's been like, but actually that complication, for whatever fucking reason, I love it. I love the fact that like I get down low, like in Azure Span. When I get down in Azure Span, like if I'm going towards Tuscar area, right, and that's downhill. Do something down there, and that's what I'll do. I do the same exact thing. I'll fly way up high. I love getting way up high. I'll do my radar for mining. I see something I want, which is draconium ore right now because I got a shit ton of the other stuff. And I'll find it and I'll boom, get it. And by the time I land, I have about 6 most of the time.
Yeah, but there have been scenarios where specific thing though, right?
I'm trying to tell you the situation, right? What I'm saying is if I get down to those and I'm hopping from one to another, I have seen it where like I will run out. And then so I got to like steer off and try to coast down to get the blue wind to pick up, right, to start regenerating again. Because if I can get 1 vigor, then I'm good to go. I know I am. Once I get 1 vigor, I can usually get it going again, and I feel perfectly fine. But if there is a stepping point like that, I know that has been annoying. But really, even like it hasn't happened a whole hell of a lot, to be honest.
It's different for everybody, and
I'm not saying that like it should be the way that I'm experiencing it for her. That's not what I'm saying. I don't mean to sound that way. I'm just saying that like in my experience, I've experienced the same type of process in a less negative way. So I don't like. And I sucked at dragon riding. Like in the beginning, it was fucking terrible for me. I actually like was hating it when I first started.
The problem isn't dragon riding. It is. But the problem is going between nodes and the way that the nodes are spaced. Then
it can be
like too close.
Sometimes, yeah. If you're trying to just hit everything,
yes,
right. If you're not searching for specific nodes, and you're just like, I'm just gathering. You are going out and you're hitting every node, and you can get into a rut, literally and figuratively, where you've hit 3 or 4 in a row, and you haven't and you're down in the lowland area, and it kind of sucks having to sit there and wait to be able to.
I think the biggest missing piece there, honestly, is there's no stationary flying.
Right.
Right.
You can't just stay still, and they really should have a stay still, even if it's very slow rigor regeneration. They should have a stay still mode.
Yep.
The fact that I got to coast all the way fucking down to hit a point to regenerate is really stupid.
Yes.
Whatever. I'm fine. Like if I think it's kind of the dragon needs its own wind generator or whatever on it to repower itself. That's fine, but like give us snacks or something that fills in that gap. I know what you're talking about. I've hit it a few times, but I will say like it's probably not as bad as you're hitting it most likely. In my case, like I've gotten to the point where I've ignored the first ore, but I'm only getting the green ore, the
Severite or whatever.
Yeah, I've been skipping most of it unless it's elemental or whatever. Then I'll pop I have a cooldown thing for it to give me extra stuff, but. Otherwise, like I've been ignoring most of those, so not as of late. But I also got frustrated because I went mining hardcore one day, and it was a pain in the ass, and it pissed me off. And so I went ahead and I did the rest of my dragon glyphs as well. I wasn't going to do that. I was doing it by zone, but by the time I got to some part in an Aran Plains, which is much easier. Doesn't compare in this situation, this scenario, because it's way easier because you can glide quite a bit without stepping, up and up like the Thunder Axis. That's crazy. That place is insane. But it was pissing me off. So I'm like, I'm done. I'm just gonna go get them all and be done. You really can't have dragon riding and do anything that revolves around dragon riding, which is an entire fucking expansion, without having 6 filled up. And having the regeneration that they have. Yeah. Like it is really a terrible experience. And I'm glad that they don't do it, the alts they did the way they did, because that would feel bad, really bad.
I don't understand why once you filled out the tree on one character, when you log into another character, it's just not filled out.
Yeah.
And why it asks you every single goddamn time, except for
Are you sure you want to fill this in?
Except for the 2 choice nodes where you pick one or the other talent. That's the only one you don't have to click another one.
There shouldn't even be a choice.
Yeah,
they should be one together. Two things you get for one, and that's it. The choices are stupid.
I don't care about the choice thing, right? Because that's
what I'm saying is that they shouldn't even have a choice, and they should automatically fill it out. Like just fill the damn thing up and be done.
Right, and if you want to change it, you go change it.
Yeah,
you can probably
to what I don't know, but
well, there's one to either
you can change it right from your
there's one to increase your vigor regeneration for a little bit when you mine a node or an herb. Or the other one is when you kill something. So, obviously, if you are a gatherer and you're out gathering, you're going to want the gathering one too. And it's so minimal. It doesn't really especially if you're going around and around and around. But yeah, having to I freaking got on a character, was bringing him over there, got on and was going to fly off the Zeppelin over to the starting area, and I only had 3 vigor and I didn't get very far. I had to land back on the Zeppelin, put my points in. I was like, motherfucker. I was like, shit.
Well, that's what it's got the feeling of, and I don't mean to steer away from your point, Kristen. I apologize, but I was thinking about this the other day. It feels, what I like about dragon flying is that it feels like heroic leaping or wall jumping, essentially, right? It's got that same feeling of like, oh, I probably really can't get there right now, but I probably can if I try hard enough. And I really like that. It's a false sense of, or it's kind of like gating. It really is gating, essentially, right? Like, what sense does it really make to train your dragon? Like, you know what I mean? It's not like you hatched it, and fed it and then trained it and stuff like that, right? It's kind of silly, but it gives you a good opportunity to learn how to dragonfly, which is really cool, to get the glyphs and everything. And the kind of the caveats that go with that, it kind of teaches that as well. But it sucks ass until you get like halfway down the tree or further. And it's not. It was fun at first. Like, ooh, this is really cool.
Well,
and then it was like, oh, I have to do this, but I can't do it because I got to slow down, stop, and wait 30 seconds.
Yeah. Each zone, I think, had its own little bit that, as you were doing the glyphs and stuff like that, kind of gave you a little bit more insight into the different parts of the dragon riding. Like, obviously, you kind of get a little bit of the up and down and going through the valleys and stuff like that, and the Waking Shore, and then the Anaran Plains is pretty much, for the most part, glide heaven, right? You can just glide across the whole damn thing.
I think Azure Span is probably the one I've had the most trouble with.
That's where I spend the most time.
That's what I'm back there now. But the Thaldraxxus, like, it has such drastic, change in elevation that you can actually swoop down, get your blue wind, and then pick back. Because like what I've noticed is that as long as I can get down and get one going, and I'm blue already, that means I can hop up, and it'll keep the blue wind going if I stay at an angle. And then the speed of regeneration takes me from there. And I'm like, okay, that's all I need. As soon as I figured that out, I started using that every single time.
But get the regeneration going and you start going up, and then you hit the 2 skill to launch yourself up again, it keeps it going.
Oh, so it's nice.
So you pretty much use the same vigor point to keep going up, as long as you don't let it fall off. I think if you let it fall off, you don't have it, and then you have to kind of get it again. So it's a little bit of a learning curve for it, but I had fun doing all the races. I started on the advanced races now, and those are rougher.
The only thing I didn't like about the races was that it plays the fucking intro music every time. And I'm like, I'm tired of hearing this already.
Oh, did it? I think I turned my music down, or I wasn't listening to it.
Well, I actually turned my music back up for the expansion. I had it off for a long time, but...
What zone is it? I want to say Azure Span has, like, it almost sounds like fucking...
Grizzly Hills.
Yeah.
It's Grizzly Hills.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I love it.
I was just listening to it, so yeah.
Yeah,
that's where I am.
The music's good, for the zones and stuff like that.
This is always good, though, I
do like the zones, how they feel kind of like... Well, the Waking Shore, I don't think there's really a comparable zone anywhere else in the world with, like...
It was odd, wasn't it?
I like it.
It wasn't the Waking Shore. It was an odd zone, though.
Well, you think about it's got the magma stuff coming out, and then, like, it's all got the rock formations and stuff. I mean, I kind of get that because it's the black dragon stuff, and they're like the earth dragon, so it felt very, like, Grand Canyon-y type thing.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Grand Canyon, and then like Ruby Dragonflight, whatever, Red Dragonflight, like life growth stuff.
Yes, so it was like a combination there. Azure Span, it feels like Grizzly Hills, where Grizzly Hills meets Dragonblight.
I got Borean Tundra vibes from it too. I don't know.
Maybe parts of it.
It looks like they took most of Northrend and like squished it together, kind of. Yeah. Dude, the tree. The cool thing about that is that one, the Waking Shore and Borean Tundra, I don't think that I will easily be able to mentally navigate through there just because the terrain is so differing throughout.
It's okay. The problem with it is because dragon riding, you go so fast.
And that's awesome, though.
You don't have time.
It leaves so much like exploration. There's probably a better word to say this. You know what I mean? But it leaves the exploration feeling there. Like, I was winding through the trees really fast. Yeah. And I'm like,
shit, where am I?
Trying to find that fucking glyph in Azure Span that was in the tree. I had no idea it was there. That was the last one. That was the last one I had to get in Azure Span. I had no idea it was there. I was just cruising by and I saw it and I'm like, you motherfucker. Like, I was looking at the top of the towers and the towers through the swoop areas, waterfalls, all kinds of, nope, right next to a fucking tree. I
always wait for the dragon to tell me when it senses one nearby.
I'm dumb. I always miss it. I don't pay attention very well, but
I don't know. It does definitely give you a feeling of, am I where I think I am when you're doing it? Because I know in the Waking Shore, there's a 34 slot bag behind a waterfall somewhere.
Really?
And every time I see a waterfall, I'm like, is this the waterfall? And it's not. Yeah, I saw some posts. There's like, hey, don't forget, there's a 34 slot bag behind in a secret cave behind a waterfall in the Waking Shore. And I'm pretty sure I've checked the same waterfall like 8 times because they all look the same.
I did not know about this already. She needs it the most.
Yeah.
Like, dang. Really?
Well, I know several times I got lost. Several times I got lost in Azure Span, and not lost, but what you're talking about. I'll be cruising through somewhere, and I think mentally I'm somewhere on the map, and I pop it up, and I'm not. It's happened several times, and I'm like, oh shit, because I'm like, oh, here we go, I'm almost over here. I think I was going back to the start of the zone where the Iskar or Tuskar are sitting there fishing or whatever. I was going back to start those quests because I had skipped them. And I'm like, oh, I'm right there. Nope, I'm like way on the right side of the fucking map. I'm like, damn. Yeah. Like, how long is it really going to take to be able to remember this stuff? It's cool because I'm like, it still feels so fresh. And like, I thought that flying has always killed that feeling in the past.
Right, which I think is part of the reason why in the more recent ones, they've tried to push it off till later in, so that way you get down on the ground.
Dude, I gotta say, they, in my opinion, they fucking nailed dragon flying in the different perspectives that it is probably meant to address and help freshen the world or keep it fresh or whatever the case is. They fucking nailed it.
It definitely is good for most things. I still think that the gathering stuff is still not the best marriage.
Yeah, in the stationary flying.
Especially from what we're used to.
I want to be able to hover and flap wings. Or even going straight. Like, why can't I flap my wings?
Because you're gliding.
I didn't pick up dragon gliding. I picked up dragon flying. I can get a glider, goblin glider, and goblin gliding if I want to, but it's a good point though. Like, there are things that I think they need to add. Here, stationary flight. Please let me stop and just take a look around.
Or just add in just regular flying because it's so much slower. So just make it so people can, if they want to go AFK somewhere, they could just pop up on their regular mount. You're still going to do dragon flying if you want to get somewhere fast because it's so much faster. Like, I went back into the old world and I mounted up and I was like, holy crap, this is so slow. Like, I'm so used to dragon riding now, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. We'll see what they're going to do with it. I don't know. I like it as a means of transportation. I don't necessarily, I don't hate it for gathering. I dislike it in certain scenarios for gathering. I like the races are good. You know,
the races?
I like the races. The dragon races. The draces.
The draces. Yeah. I gotcha.
But racing, or the dragon races?
No, not the dragon races, but the dragon races.
Oh,
Okay, so the dragon races,
Dragon.
not
Yes,
the
the
dragon.
adventure, the courses. The courses that
Okay.
you do, not the individual dragon flights.
I'm sorry, Jim, but some of them are annoying. I don't know how many branches you fucking hit.
Oh my
Oh,
God!
Jesus.
Seriously.
I think I
As,
will.
soo-
Go ahead.
as soon as I hit the first one, I got pissed and left. I'm like, fuck this. I'm not going to spend 30 seconds on a course and get stopped by a branch.
There was
It's
one.
bullshit.
There was one race.
It should explode into pieces as I fucking dive through it. That's what it should do.
Right.
There was one where I think I had to do it 3 times to get gold on it, on the normal level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I would either hit something or there was a weird turn.
Yep.
And I would miss the circle and have to. There was one where I missed and had to fly and loop around and
Oh
come
my
back.
God! I
and
had
still,
to do that multiple times.
I still got gold on that one.
Oh,
Did you
that
really?
Did not
Yeah.
happen to me. That was not
I can't
my
tell you how
experience.
many ones I've not gotten gold on by like half a second, and it irritates the shit out of
The
me.
ones I don't like are the ones where they're like, fly through the ring in any order.
Oh yeah, I don't
There's
like
like
that.
2 of them where they're like that, where it doesn't tell you where they all show up, and you just have to look and say, okay, what am I gonna do? And like the
And
one
you don't
that's in
have the
an
vigor to get up.
it's like I did. That's the thing too. It starts you at 3 every time you start the race, regardless.
Oh,
There's some races where they put the vigor orbs in it, and then there's some where they put the speed boost in them. So,
mm.
but trying to like when you get to the advanced courses, there's like arcane balls that you have to avoid, so you don't like because they'll slow you down, and then so you have to like kind of like do wide turns or up or down and stuff like that to get around and get to the next ring. But it's fun. So.
It's different. It's a lot different, and it is fun. It
Yeah.
is quite a bit of fun.
I think
So
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. I was gonna ask how you guys feel about the RP part of the game so far, like the worlds and how the
Oh
different
my
areas and
God.
how immersive they are.
I have to say, I did a quest. It is probably my favorite quest of the game ever. It was so adorable. It was
a poop quest.
no, it was it Toe Jam the Terrible? It's the Tuskar.
Is it the little
It's
Knoll
the
dude?
little no, it's the little Tuskar dude, and he lost his mom, and
Oh, I haven't done that yet.
oh my God, and so you go in and there's the Yeti. But he's a Yeti who wants to pet all the... He's not a terrible Yeti, but his name is like Toe Jam the Terrible. And you go in there and you're trying to convince him, well, there's a little Tuskar boy out here who needs to kill you. So he basically takes... oh my God, heartstrings pulled. It was so... Seriously, you need to do that quest.
I'm pretty sure I fought Toe Jam just to clear him out of there so that I could...
You couldn't. He was green.
No, there's somebody I fought. Maybe that's the bear that's puking.
Jem's just a murderer going around fucking killing
It didn't
things.
give you that.
Jesus
You can't.
Christ.
He's not even yellow, so you could accidentally kill him. He's
You are
straight up
truly a
green.
death knight, right? You just couldn't be a regular knight. You had to be a death knight.
There's a bear that you attack, and he starts puking,
Oh yeah, it's
and you
not
kill
him.
the slimes. That's what I'm thinking of,
Yeah.
because he's in a cave, and I wanted to mine,
You
but
should have killed the damn bear.
well, he
He had
pukes,
to be put down, Jim.
he pukes everything up, and you kill all his stomach acid goo, and he walks out.
Oh, so you're
Give him some
basically
Pepto.
and yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say you're basically acting like an antacid or something.
Change
right?
my Death Knight name to Pepto.
Oh gosh.
No, I'll have to look for that one.
Yeah, that one was.
I love it. I love every it's. Well, I told you like the Asher Span
When you go to
main
the
quest
archives,
line.
yes. So this is minor
oh.
spoilers if you haven't done the story stuff. That Simacrylum, I think, is the word that I can't think of. That basically the memory of Sinvergosa.
Oh my God, that surprised me. I did not expect
when
that.
you're doing that stuff and it starts talking and you're like, who is this? This is gonna be somebody, and it pops up and it's Cinder Ghost, and she's like,
Yeah,
You know what's funny is that usually I get cringy at a lot of stuff they try to bring back like that.
No, I thought that was cool. Yeah,
I loved it. I absolutely loved that whole quest line, man. Was so like they really treat his Caligos, his character, like respectfully, with the the less amount of experience that he has in trying to learn those things and stuff like that. And it was very like humbling. I loved it.
It's not just that, but they brought in the blue dragons from Suramar, the old dragon, and then the little drake that we saved, the one that almost didn't make it. And he's like a juvenile drake now and all that stuff. He grew up.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm like,
I didn't notice that, but
yeah. So he's when there's the 4 whelpling that you revive, and one of them doesn't make it, and you take him to Senegosa, and he's like, bring him here, blah blah blah, and he fixes him, or he helps heal him or whatever. So he's there, and then his daughter or whatever. No, Senegosa's the girl. I forget his name. Right? Isn't she like the
I don't remember.
Anyway.
She was the one that was asking you for help to help him. And all that stuff,
And so like they were there, and that was cool. So the blue flight's being reformed, and just having Sindragosa there, period. It's like,
sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's like, I know she died. She got blasted by Deathwing when he used the Dragon Soul at the Well of Eternity. She got knocked to Northrend and was trying to get to Dragonblight, or the Wormrest Temple, which is where they go to die. Died out in the snow, which is why her corpse was buried and the Lich King could res her. And she died hating all the dragons. She hated Malagos because he didn't answer her. She was calling out for aid and all that stuff. And it's like, I forget. I looked it up. I think it was on the wiki or whatever. So she had like this hatred, which is why I think Arthas raised her and stuff like that. But like, so like, that's all I know about her. It's like, she's a fucking, I wonder
crazy ass dragon.
She's a bone dragon, ice bone dragon. I wonder if they got the same voice actress to do it, right? The same voice actor that did the stuff for ICC to come back and do this.
That'd be cool.
Did you do your Sindragosa thing in front of her?
No. Does it do anything?
I don't know.
I wouldn't imagine that it does.
Technically, they changed the name.
After her.
They changed the name to Frostworms for Fury. So it's not Sindragosa's Fury. That's what it was when it was part of the artifact weapon. But when they gave it back to the class as an ability or a talent, it became Frostworms Fury, which I thought was dumb. But no,
it's very interesting though, because the storyline was just really good. It didn't feel like the others at all, because there's like, is there the traditional thing right in WoW is that the WoW expansion, that is, each zone, they have their own conflicts. We got to go solve their fucking problems. Blah 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 blah. Right? We get it. This like actually felt different for some reason. Like, I don't know what it was, but like I fucking thoroughly enjoyed it.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. I was going to segue over to Valdrakken, so don't let me.
I was just going to say I really liked that the storyline really is focused on bringing all the dragons together, and how they've all been feeling like kind of lost since everybody kind of disbanded, or you know what I mean, since the aspects were no longer aspects and
Titan empowered and all that stuff.
They all kind of went their own way, and so it's kind of they feel like they're family and they're gonna reform, and that really felt nice. It felt like coming together, and it was kind of like, I'm kind of like, well, I hope that the Horde and the Alliance do that. Well, it's like everybody can come together and
that's kind of what the I don't know, it's not the Explorer, it's the Explorers League, and then the other ones like are joined together, and like it's the new like exploration thing. So I feel like, and especially with the trailer, right, the cinematic where you show the 2 dragon riders, the Zandalari troll and the what's it called, the dwarf, the Wildhammer dwarf.
Oh,
or they're doing all that stuff and they're flying around and showing each other up and having a good time, and they're younger characters.
Yeah.
Which kind of implies
that
the hatred and the bias and stuff like that is being outgrown. It's proceeding towards its autumn years kind of thing. Like, it's still kind of there. Obviously, you got Greymane, you got Tyrell, you got people that lived through all that stuff, and people that are going to have a hard time, turning it away. But like, none of the faction leaders are here.
Yeah.
We are.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even think about
all that. Like, we're here with the exploration faction from each thing that are working together to come here and help the dragons.
And Dadgar's here.
Yes, but he's separated from everything too, right? Because he advises both.
Yeah.
And he's not like really associated with Alliance or Horde. So the fact that we're here and we've done all this stuff so far, we got to level 70 and there's not a hint of faction stuff.
Which I think is amazing.
You know what I mean? It's like,
that's so
just
good.
not there.
I can't wait till I can be an Alliance character in a Horde guild.
But yeah, we're just going to go ahead and gloss over that. So
Shadow Meld is OP.
Another thing that was a surprise was when we went to the Obsidian Throne and Sibelian showed up.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
So I had no idea this guy existed, right?
Yeah.
Until I went and looked him up, and apparently he's been around since BC. He had a human visage in Blade's Edge Mountain. He went with Deathwing to Outland to help protect the eggs or whatever, and stayed behind. A lot of the clutch and stuff was killed by Gruul and his son, so he had a vendetta against them. And supposedly he found some way to purge the corruption from whatever remained and all that stuff. So now he's back, and him and Rathian are vying for control. And it was really funny when they took the fake eggs in the wagon or whatever to the Ruby Life pools to bring them. And like, they're talking to Alexstrasza, and she's like, I don't give a shit. You figure your own shit out. She's like, I'm not getting involved in your squabble for power. So
Squabble.
There's each zone has had like really cool stuff, like the centaur stuff with the green dragons was pretty cool. It wasn't the best. It's not the most standout thing, but like, did you notice that the leader of the centaur tribe that we first encounter I'm pretty sure is mute and has somebody that talks for her?
For what?
The centaur that we first meet, the leader of them, doesn't talk to us. I'm pretty sure that she has an assistant that interprets either hand signs or something. I think she's mute.
Huh. Okay. And
stuff. And I'd have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure that's the impression that I got. Because the person that was talking kept saying, she says this, or, and like, which I thought was pretty cool. The models are pretty neat. They're different. There's some beefy centaurs. They're like thick boys. They're like, just like huge rip. They're not just like all like the same ones that are on like over on our side of the Azeroth stuff, that we're used to dealing with, and it's just like, it's kind of a neat how it's kind of like there's like the different tribes and they all do different things and they come together kind of thing. But like their whole interaction with the dragons weren't really as memorable.
What?
Did you get through the bronze dragon stuff?
Oh.
where you go through time, where first you find the timekeeper and like, oh no, I accidentally sent a Murloc back.
Whoops.
Nobody will notice. That's not a big deal.
We don't need to say anything.
Yeah, don't say anything to, what was his name?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Into something.
Or like the one dude was like Drake or something like, I don't know. But then you go through the different periods of time where Chromie's fighting Eternus or something like that.
Yeah.
And the second one you go into is it Asmagurgle? Or Asmagoth or whatever? It's
Asmaroth.
Asmaroth. It is Wormrust Temple, and there's Death McGurgle or whatever. And
oh my god, it's just all giant.
Every character is a Murloc.
Yeah.
And it's fucking amazing. They had like all the normal ones, like Gilvanis Captain Cookie was there from Dead Minds.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But they had all the different ones and so like that. And it was
really funny.
It was hilarious.
Yeah.
That was
very
and like
funny.
I stole a Gratz for Gratwurst.
From there?
The Gratwurst add-on from there, yeah. As soon as I get mine fixed, you will see it kick in and you're gonna laugh.
Nice.
But it was cool because like you get like the heart of Asmerloth or whatever.
Yep.
Is a callback to the heart of Azeroth kind of thing. That little pocket dimension was the best freaking thing of this expansion.
Yeah, we were laughing super hard
because we're going around and you just see all this stuff and it's just going crazy. And then like everybody's cheering at the end. And you got all like the faction leaders and you got the ones that they actually have Murloc analogs for, but then they added all the new ones and stuff, and it was awesome. It was so much fun. That was such a good thing to
enjoyable.
do. And it's just like,
well, it's funny because as soon as you zone in, the bronze dragon dude, the Tauren, was like, whatever I expected, this is not.
Yeah.
So
you can go to the future part, but there doesn't seem to be a way to go back to that one, which is unfortunate because I wanted to just leave my character there and never leave. They really should have a way to go back there and just hang out for a little bit. You know what I mean? Like that would be kind of cool. Just like, hey guys, we're gonna go have a party at this place and just kind of hang out. Just hang out with the Murlocs and whatnot.
I'm just gonna go hang out with the Murlocs. Whatevs. No big deal.
But
also, it's interesting too because in the quest line, and this may be a slightly spoiler-ish, but them working together to return, and then that little lack of conflict that ended.
Where they
line.
let Eternus leave and they're like, "Look, you helped us get back."
Yeah, and then he or she or they, we're all don't expect me to reciprocate the next time we meet or whatever. It's like, dude,
I think they will. Because the Infinite Dragonflight was created by Mirazon, and as such, they exist outside of time and are trying to come back to create Mirazon.
Right.
Which is crazy because they're trying to be their own grandpa, basically, right? They're trying to be their own grandfather.
Yeah.
To usher
Some
forward
Futurama shit.
Yeah, and it's just like, okay, interesting. It'll be interesting to see if that had any type of effect on, especially that one, and if it maybe starts to sow some seeds of doubt about this, which I don't understand. I don't know if it could, because without it, they wouldn't exist,
right?
And not.
It has to come to pass. It's just. I feel like it's just about, it has to come to pass, but it feels like it's just about minimizing the damage until you can, you know what I mean?
Well, consider like how it could be mitigated, right? Even if it could be, I don't know, healed or whatever, right? They got their powers from the Titans, right? So it's not like they and their powers are the end all be all to what seems to be possible as far as we know lore wise. So it's not like, oh, I'm destined to become Mirazon and there's nothing we can do about it. This is not the fucking case, because somebody gave them those powers, right? They never naturally had the power to go time walking and see everything and all this other burdenous bullshit. They were given that power. So the idea that we've been all the way around Titan shit nonstop for like the past expansions, like there's going to be something there that pulls that, you know what I mean? If that's the direction we're going, it's going to pull it back from getting to that point.
You could have a Titan or higher power level wise do something to stop it. And there's no guarantee that our Nosdormu is going to be the one that turns into Mirazon, because it's an alternate timeline splinter of him that turns into it. And then because of his innate time powers and all that stuff, gets outside of the timelines. And that's how
isn't
it
he the
exists.
one that says in every timeline it happens?
I don't think
thought
it
that's what he
happens in
said.
every. I thought it wasn't. I thought there was one timeline where that happened, and then he was able to get outside of the timelines. I don't think it's every timeline that it happens.
Oh,
I could be wrong. I'm gonna look into it.
yeah.
Do some research that we'll never talk about again because I'll forget.
It's interesting. It is interesting. Again, I think I said this before. I really enjoy time-based craziness, but they easily push themselves into a corner story and lore-wise by doing it. And it's hard to get out of where they had to start making up bullshit to seal it up or tie it up, you know,
Yeah.
to not have such loose ends. And that's kind of the bullshit that came out of WoD, right? Having that pocket instance of Draenor. And that's the only thing that exists on that timeline.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fucking stupid. Sorry. I think it's really fucking stupid. And let's test that theory. Let's go to Draenor, find a bronze dragon, and have them navigate their timeline and start stretching that instance all the way out. Like,
Well, I think what brought it back to the timeline and made it that was they went back in time and went to Draenor, which caused the branch. And then by building the dark portal and tying it to our dark portal, that brought it back down to the timeline and anchored it, which is why it's a pocket timeline. But again, at that,
I just think those are
then how do we
dumb
get,
though. Like,
yeah, but then we go to get the Maghar orcs and
because
things that
it's not a timeline at that point. Then it's just not, and it can't be a branch because they're going back into time to a certain point, right?
yeah, it's all
So
it's all
they
fucked
would
up.
be. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the whole thing is like if there is an infinite amount of timelines, right? And they're able to do this magic to go to another point in time. If it's already past that on this one, they got to go to another one. So the idea that they're just opening up a little pocket over here is kind of counterintuitive to what they're trying to suggest this bronze type magic is.
I think,
you know what I mean?
Well, I think part of it too is that the way the time works is that when a timeline is splintered, it tries to heal itself. And I think it was based on the fact that Nozdormu was had the Titan powers. And I think once he lost the Titan powers, that maybe weakened the healing factor of the timelines, maybe. And that's why the Draenor thing was able to happen. Like whoever it was able to create the splinter, but it was never able to fully heal itself back into the normal timeline, which is why other timelines don't. But it's weird. Yeah.
That's interesting then. So you said like they lost their powers, right?
Well, yes, they gave up their Titan part, right? They gave up their immortality because they were.
So at that point, then, oh yeah, because we kill Murazon, don't we?
Right.
In
shit. Is that Cataclysm?
Cataclysm, yeah.
Because that was the end times, and that was just one future. And I don't know. There's a lot of it'd be interesting
That's
to
a
see.
mind fuck for sure.
Yeah. But anyway, yes, I think that a lot of the new car smell has started to dissipate with the expansion. Some of the
Says you, okay? Says you.
okay. I just mean that a lot of the newness has kind of started to wear off. So some of the things that are not as good as they could have been are starting to rear their head. Like with
that makes sense.
Like, yes, you start diving heavily into trying to do professions and you find the ones that aren't working as well as, they could be.
That's the same thing as I was talking about earlier in our little chat that none of these people heard. But anyways, I'm still afraid that professions are going to just be glossed over again because why wouldn't they be? I think there seems to be some saving grace to that, but
yeah,
I still have a fear that like it's not going to be. It's fun. It's fun to do, but it's not going to be worth the amount of effort you put into it in the end, most likely.
It's a new system, and they're gonna have to find a way to extend it throughout the entire expansion. Whether that means adding new drops to increase the item level, because right now there will exist some primal catalyst things or whatever that can get you up to like 418, I think. And obviously, I don't think you're going to be getting those unless you're doing higher level raid content or something like that. But with the ability to reforge gear, you can use that to take gear that's been previously made and bump it up and stuff like that, or make a whole new piece if you have to.
Which I just learned about today, well.
Well,
I had no idea.
Well, the thing is, it's like that kind of stuff doesn't exist yet. It's not. I don't think it's available yet. You know what I mean? It's like the Ruby Life pools or whatever has a bunch of crafting quests in there that tell you that you could talk to these people and they can explain it all. I skipped through it all. I'm like, I'll figure it out. You know, but
order crafting. What about the order crafting? Have you guys done any of that yet?
I've done a few. I don't have enough recipes to do the ones that people are putting in orders for.
Nobody's putting in orders that I've seen.
I say I don't even know how to. I checked things a few times and there's no list of anything. I don't really understand it.
You go in and you hit search,
and it pulls everything back.
So you have to go by your crafting table. That's near where what are you crafting?
Blacksmithing.
Okay, so you go behind the miner trainer. There's like that little forge right there. There's the tables. Yeah. You go there, open your menu. You can activate the crafting order tab there. You click it. You click search. You can change.
I was going to the actual
No, that's where you place an order.
Son of a monkey!
You have to go to the table for your profession to look for orders to do. I've done 2, and they were like low level green items or whatever. And I think it was like 50 gold here and like 200 gold there or whatever. That I think I made. It's like nothing big.
Kind of cool. Holy shit! I didn't know.
You can put them in specifically for a specific crafter or guild. So you could put in an order for something for the guild. So if we can get people in the guild to be like, hey, just post orders, because I think it costs some gold to do it, to post it, which kind of sucks. You can just ask the person to do it, since we're such a small guild anyway. But I think in a larger guild, when you have people that specialize in different things, you could put stuff out there, and it's work for people to do. It help them maybe get a skill up or something like that, and so there's different ways you can do it. If you find somebody that makes good gear that does it for a reasonable price, you can specifically identify them for the crafting order, and they'll find it. It'll show up in their interface, and they'll do it. And yeah, it's interesting. It's going to take a while for it to kind of I think really play out and see what the flaws are and what's actually good and what they're going to keep. So I think it's a pretty decent attempt at revamping the crafting system in general, the profession system in general.
I just got gold on a race the first time I did it.
Very good.
That's cool.
Yeah, some of them are
super easy.
Yeah,
the one by the Iskar, the Tuskar area, it's super easy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's nothing you had to worry about hitting. It was just
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's a pretty good recap. Oh, we did a couple mythics.
Oh yeah. Did a couple of mythics. Not bad.
The other day we did the Uldaman one, Legacy of Tyr. That one was fine.
Yeah.
No problems with it. Today we went and did the
Noku. We just didn't know the mechanics for it. That was the only problem.
Well, we had never done the mythic mechanics for Uldaman either. And I don't think that they were of any significant note. We did the offensive one, the Noku offensive or whatever. The one that's in the Centaur area where you fly to the different dragons or whatever. Some of those were a pain in the ass. Because if you don't know what the mechanic is and how to combat it, that one was rough. But
sure, because we didn't know the mechanics. But once we learn the mechanics, it'll be fine. That was the...
No, I know. But I'm just talking about as a first time. It was a completely different... Because I've done the dungeon. I knew what the basic mechanics of the fights were. But
yeah, so even normal I didn't do heroic, but I did normal on it the other day, and we zipped through it like quick.
Yeah.
It's
like crazy.
The mechanics are.
I actually thought Mythic was gonna be relatively quick too, and it was not. So
well, I think about how well everybody is geared. Like
that has a little bit of it, but
well, the better gear you get, obviously the.
Yes, we'll be able to, but just trying to figure out what exactly to do, like the water elemental boss or the lightning boss soaking up the orbs.
I honestly think it's about on par with how Mythics were in Shadowlands. Like they were just as challenging at that gear level and when it first came out and stuff like that. There was plenty of stuff that was challenging.
Yeah. I don't remember that much, but I know we did a couple of them. They were pretty good. It's like I don't think the Brackenhide Hollow, that dungeon sucks.
I hate it.
It's annoying.
I hate it. It's an Azure Span, and I want to love it so badly. And I love the gnolls. Oh, man, they're so cool looking,
they're
dude.
so full of fucking poison. Battlecat hates it, too.
Oh, my gosh.
It's just like... It's a nightmare.
That is one thing. I don't know what it is about the whole, like, plague bullshit. Like, I really just don't even care to see plague-ish stuff anymore. Like, between, like... coming off of, I guess, Maldraxxus, right, in Shadowlands, and BFA, it was like that one area of the first raid, and the dungeons around it was all plaguey stuff, and just be done with it already. But I like that they're hinting around death magic. I don't know what it is because it's got that same death magicness that the starting zone has when you level up.
Well, okay,
Reach.
so
they have all the decaying herbs, and you guys have decaying things for your mining stuff.
No, there's no decaying one.
We have a lot of decaying herbs and things like that.
There's the fire one, the fire elemental one that puts a debuff on you. That sucks. But I just anti-magic shell before I mine it, and I don't get the buff applied.
That's it. I don't think I get it anymore. I think I spec'd out of it. I don't remember.
No, it's like I know when we were doing the Noku offensive, when you go fight the where you go to the burial mound and you fight the two death of the resurrection. There's a lot of death magic there, but I mean, but they're necromancy. They're trying to raise the dead anyway. So that makes sense.
But death magic is still an interesting thing, though, right?
Because it's
Why aren't we immune to that? We're the Maw Walker.
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know, but
I'm the Veil Strider.
Oh my God.
When you look at the cosmology, whatever thing, and see where it lands at, it begins to become a little interesting. So
yeah. It'll be interesting to see how they start to fit some of this stuff in, because we're probably going to see some more old god shit, and I don't know how any of the other things are going to play into it, but it'll be pretty neat.
Probably going to see some more old god shit.
I'm so stoked. I will admit that my DPS is a little low, and it makes me feel bad. The leveling, I blame it on leveling, okay? Because I was knocking shit out between 60 and 66, probably 67. I started going downhill big time. Like,
yeah, that's when your gear's not scaling quite as much.
Oh my God, it is terrible. I got down to like 10% crit, and I'm like, well, I'm fucking done. But it's I hope to get back quicker, because I single my one-handed fury. I absolutely love it. I love it so much, and I don't want to go back.
I'm dual wielding Frost again, so the fish are back. So that's good. I guess one final thing to note for everybody that's listening or whatnot, Torghast does not scale, so it stops at 60. So when you hit 70, you can go in and just start and go collect mounts and stuff like that.
Dang, good.
So
that's good.
So just
free mounts.
Yeah. So as a nice little tidbit of whatever. So
go do it quick before they nerf it. Fun detected.
Is there anything that doesn't scale that you can go back and do? I thought I heard there was something that didn't scale well. That somebody was trying to go back and do.
There's always been ones that don't scale well. And I don't know if it's related to Shadowlands or some other stuff. Because do you remember when they did the level squish to begin with?
Mm-hmm.
There were all kinds of freaking dungeons and stuff like that where they scaled everything, but some things weren't scaled correctly, and they would just destroy you. Like some,
Obliterate.
yeah, it was just like one ability that was supposed to do like,
100
whatever.
damage did 1,000,000.
Yeah, because or something like that. Yeah. So if there's something out there that's not scaled correctly and all that stuff, it's probably unintentional and being looked at. But anyway, yeah, Torghast is out there for those that want to go get a couple of mounts from there and stuff. Cosmetics, if you're into that kind of stuff, it should be slightly easier on the higher floors and stuff like that. So I think it's a good place to go ahead and wrap things up. Thank you everybody for checking us out. You can go on over to our Facebook. It's facebook.com/server restart in. You could shoot us a tweet at @server_restart, and we'll catch you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.